Good morning, welcome back everybody. You're looking at Joey's engine here. We're just wrapping up a few things on this one. I finally have his carburetor finished. And I have the fuel line in. We're trying out some, they're not new, but they're new to me. These are supposed to be the best fuel pumps out there right now. I'm going to try it and see how it works. I hear real good things about them, and I'll show you the startup on this one when we use that one. We've got the oil canister on there, and I get a lot of crap about using hard lines, but if you've ever had one of the rubber lines fail on you and spew oil all over the place, you won't go back to them. I don't have good feelings about the rubber lines, and I always hard line them. Sneak around here. There's that one. And a lot of people tell me the hard lines will vibrate and chafe through and fail immediately, but I've probably, on the engines I've done, I've probably got 2 million miles on hard lines without any trouble. And there was a time I finished up an MB, rebuilt the engine, was taking it on its first test drive, everything was going perfect, and then smoke started billowing out from under the hood because a brand new oil line had failed on me. So I haven't been using them for a long time. But you guys could do whatever you like. If you like the rubber ones, that's fine. I don't care for them. We've got the ARP studs in here as usual, because you know the studs aren't any good anymore. The head that came on this engine with Joey's engine was incorrect, and it had a real bad bow in it. I used a later head. You see, I did put the bypass on there. It helps with the cooling on the L heads. With industrial Willys engines, and some of the later ones were drilled. There's a little boss right back there and just a hole. You could drill any head for this and just put a 1/4-inch pipe fitting in there. It does help with the cooling. No hot spots. The engine will run better. So I do have the bypass installed on here for them. And the only thing I have to do, I'm waiting on the Pertronics for his distributor. Here is the generator, and I have to get that fit on here, get a belt on here, get the flywheel and the transmission mounted, and then we'll get it over in the test stand and get it fired up. A new PCV valve because his was messed up, and detailed the exhaust and intake manifolds. And it won't be long now. We'll get this one in the test stand next. But right now I've got another engine in the test stand, which we're hopefully going to fire up today. And we'll take a walk over there next, and I'll show you what I got going on. Okay guys, this one's been in the test stand for a while, and I'm just finally getting to it. We've got a super rainy day out there today, and I had some sandblasting planned for today, but can't get that done. So we're going to get this guy fired up. This one, you know, it's got the PTO out the back. This one, you know, is going to power the snowblower in the snowblower Jeep. This is going to sit in the back, and I've had this one rebuilt for a while, and I'm just finally getting to it. I've got an exhaust kind of sticking out the side there. I can't get it through with the big bell housing, and rebuilt radiator. That's one of those new old stock carbs that I got in. We're going to try that one out and see how it works. We've got the Pertronics in this one with the epoxy coil. I don't have any of this painted yet, and I've got to still put mounts. I still got to weld mounts to this to accept some engine mounting pads or something. I still got to get that figured out, and I want to get it running, and then I'll figure out the sled that this is going to sit on, and then we'll get everything welded onto this, and then we can paint and detail everything here. But we'll test this out. We'll see how that works with the custom-made flywheel that I made for this, and we're just about ready to go. I got a battery ready to go, got some antifreeze ready to go in, and I am filling up the engine oiler, and we're going to pressure lube this one before we start it. And I'll take you over to the bench and show you what I got going on there. Okay, here's the engine oiler, and that's just a tank that we're going to pressurize with air and push oil through the engine. This is what I'm using for break-in oil. High zinc Lucas 30 weight, specifically designed for engine break-in. There's a lot of different break-in oils, and I've tried a lot of them. You can use anything that's high zinc and labeled as a break-in oil. Anything will work, but just make sure you use a break-in oil for your engine. So we'll get this filled up. Tiny little hole in there, so it takes a while to fill it up. We'll fill it up with this oil, and we'll pressurize it right here. We'll head over to the engine and we'll start pressurizing the oil system. Okay guys, I've shown this before, and a bunch of guys have asked me what the oiler was and what it does and where you can get one. We pressurize that with air. That pushes oil through every single oil galley and pre-lubes everything. Now the engine is full of assembly lube, but this will help us get oil pressure immediately upon startup. Okay, so I just filled that with air, just a regular air chuck. Just a regular chuck. Fill that with air. You have a on-off valve there. Just crack it. I can already hear the oil being pushed out of here in through the engine. And I got 3 quarts in there, so it's going to take a while, and it's going to take a few different fill-ups with air. Don't open it wide open, and just give it time, and the oil will flow through every single area of the engine. As far as where you get these anywhere. It's called an engine pre-oiler. Just search the internet for them. You can find them anywhere. Sometimes they're called pigs, engine pigs, but they're available anywhere. Just get a good one. You don't want that thing exploding on you when you put air in it. And they can be found anywhere. And I think it's absolutely critical you pre-oil the engine. You won't get any scuffing on anything. I do it on every single engine. It's very important. So if you're going to start your own engine, it's worth having one of these. Okay guys, we pushed 4 quarts of oil through the whole system, and I added another 2 quarts. I overfill engines on startup because there's a lot of places the oil is going to go on a dry engine. And I'll take you over to a block and show you what I mean. But you have to fill up that entire oil galley system, which takes a lot of oil. Let's go over to this engine here. And there's a lot of places, you'll start an engine, you'll put 5 quarts in an engine on a fresh engine, and when you go to drain it, you'll only take like 3 out. Okay, this area right here where all your tappets are, that area there, after you start the engine, all these areas here are going to be filled with oil. This one area takes over half a quart of oil to fill up. And all your internal galleys and stuff, they take a lot of oil. So instead of starting up with 5 quarts, I start up with 6. And when I drain it, I'm lucky if I get 4 quarts out, because there's a lot of oil stuck places in the engine where it needs to be. Every bearing shell has a film of oil, and it adds up after a little bit. So just don't short your engine on oil. You're going to have a quart just sitting up in the oil filter. Your oil filter is going to soak up a lot of oil. There's places where the oil is going to go. You want to make sure you have enough for lubricating all your critical components, the crank, the rods, the cam, stuff like that. So right now we're looking at 6 quarts in here. I filled up the canister. I put a couple quarts through the fill, and we pushed 4 quarts through. We've got the battery set up. We've got our startup gauges here. Oil pressure is hooked up right there. I don't have any linkage on. You know this engine is going to be powering a snowblower, so I still got to get all my linkage. I've got to get the governor put on here. There's still a lot to do on this engine as far as getting it set up and running with the governor and all that. But I want to get it running. I want to break it in, and I got to get it off the stand so I can get Joey's engine on here. So we're going to fill up the cooling system. We're going to set the timing, and we'll go for it. Like I say, this has the Pertronics, so this should light up like nothing. We won't have to mess around with points or anything. It should light right off. Got the epoxy filled coil there. I made a set of wires for it, and I like to use these push button starters. It's just easy to press the button, and you don't need an external switch that you're pressing. Just easy to use that. And one more thing, just because it's been happening lately, a couple vehicles have come in. Guys just aren't getting the performance they thought they could out of it, and I'm just going to show you something about some caps. Let's go back over here. Okay, here's a cap that somebody bought from a retailer. I don't know. You see these contacts? They're aluminum. I don't know if you can see that. Let me try and zoom in on that one. They're aluminum, and what happens is, can you guys see the black on that one? Way down in there. And then it stops firing good. You know, when you have a good running engine and you start chasing little demons, now here's a good cap that I use, and this is the only kind that I would sell. I don't sell a lot of parts anymore, but see the brass terminals? They last 100 times longer than those aluminum ones. Those aluminum ones just sitting in moist air will start to oxidize. These brass ones, they're fantastic. So there's a lot of retailers out there now. Everybody's selling Jeep parts. Everybody thinks they know what's best, and everybody goes for the cheapest parts. If you are chasing down little misfires, or you're chasing down the ignition problems, just take a look under your cap. See if you got the aluminum. See if you got the aluminum here. If you do, throw it away. Get a brass cap one. I use, because it's easy for me to get locally, I use the standard products. There's some engine warehouses that I use that carry standard, and they've been putting the caps and rotors on the shelf for me, so it's easy for me to get the standard stuff, and they have the brass terminals. Just little tricks like this, just trying to help you guys get the most out of your Jeep. And again, people get in vehicles and drive engines that I've rebuilt, and drive vehicles that I've redone the brakes on and done full restorations on, and they can't believe what a Jeep is supposed to feel like, because their whole lives they've been driving with poor brakes and poor carburation and poor ignition and a worn out engine and a bad transmission with the wrong lube in it. If you follow along on my videos and you take what I say and you do it, you'll have a much user-friendly Jeep. But like I say, you know, I put a lot of videos out. I don't get too much action on them, but there's a few guys. I think you know what I'm talking about. You can get more out of your Jeep if you just pay attention and follow along. But let's get this guy timed and some coolant in it, and get it fired up. We'll put some fuel to it and see how it goes. Alright guys, I think I got the timing set. I put one new old stock carburetor on there, and it was a mess inside. The accelerator pump was no good. Maybe you can see that line. That's the fuel line. I got a tank up on the top of the lift up above me. I couldn't get any fuel into the carburetor. I took another one out of the package. This one was also stuck, but this one's in much better shape inside. The accelerator pump is good. So it looks like it's feeding fuel in there. We're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna fire it up. I'm gonna try and just rough set some timing. We're gonna kick up the RPMs. We've got a brand new cam in here. We're gonna try and get that cam broken in about 1800 to 2000, and then we'll swing around. We'll check the gauges and see what kind of oil pressure and temperature we got, and we'll just go for it. Anything can happen. We'll see what happens. I got the timing right on. It should kick right off. That Pertronics usually makes them kick right off real nice. I will try and stay out of the way of the camera. It's a little tight in here today, but let's see what we can do. We're just going to power up the Pertronics right to the battery, right to the positive there. Let's see how she goes. Now we're close on the timing. Okay guys, it's been about 35 minutes or so. I got the engine broken in, and I was having some trouble with those YF carbs. I did not advance the timing too much when I was breaking it in because the carbs just weren't working with me. I have it timed now, and I put a Weber on here. I have a love-hate relationship with those Carter YFs, and I had those couple new old stock ones, and when I got into one, it was pretty, everything was just stuck inside. Accelerator pump was no good. There's just junk in all the passages. I thought I was going to do better with the new old stock one, but I was planning on running a Weber on the actual Jeep itself. It's a much better carburetor. I'll try and walk you around here. It's a much better carburetor, and I don't know. I just like them better than the Carters. So I had this one. I didn't put it on the Jeep, the actual engine that's going to drive the Jeep, and I put it on here, and I'll try and get you in there. Okay, this is something that I make special when I put these on. This is a block of aluminum, and it raises it up so that you can get your dipstick out. If you don't do that, the carburetor is sitting way down. You can't get your dipstick out. I put that on there, and I put a different air cleaner on there, and I can show you that if anybody's interested. But for right now, I just was fiddling with it, and we're going to get it fired up on this and see how she idles. I had a terrible time with everything idling today with those Carters. But let's see how the Weber goes. it shouldn't be too bad. And then we'll try our clutch out. But let me get set up for this and let's see how that goes with the Weber. Okay guys, let's see how she goes with the Weber. idling. Looks like 47, 48 pounds. Thermostat just open up. Got a 180 thermostat in there. And let's see how clutch works. That's working super smooth. I like the way that feels. Hey guys, you got a little dialing in to do with the Weber. I can tell I'm going to be happy with it. Really responds, real nice. Manual choke on it. I think that's going to be a good carburetor. And it hooks up right here just about the same way as the original vintage and stuff. Right around 800, 5 degrees before I tried the timing. This carburetor likes a little bit more, so I'm about 8 degrees before. See some condensed there. We don't have a fan on this or anything or inside, so when this is moving, we'll be right at 180. The Weber is idling nicely, and I'm going to shut her down. Okay guys, the Weber did much better than those YFs, so we're going to fine tune that guy there. Everything worked out pretty nice. Our little exhaust worked good. Clutch is working nice and smooth. Kind of rattles a little bit in there. I thought I had some engine noise, but that noise right there is kind of a nuisance, but that's just the way the mechanism looks in there. And I think you can get a good look at. There's my flywheel and that fiber disc in there, and then we just grip the disc or let it go. So that's working good. No leaks of any kind. The ground is dry. I got a little crazy this morning putting the antifreeze in there, but the ground is dry. No oil leaks, no coolant leaks, nothing. Temperature is holding nice. And the Weber is that's better than expected. Like I say, if anybody's going to try and put the Weber on there, I recommend making a stack for it. Otherwise you can't check your oil. It's broken in. Oil will come out, filter will get changed, and then we'll get this off the stand, and hopefully in the next couple days or so we'll have Joey's engine. We'll have the rest of the parts. Getting some parts these days has been a real nuisance, and I don't know what the holdup is on a lot of stuff, but it's really getting to be a nuisance, screwing everything up on me. But Joey is going on the stand next. This will come off the stand. And I'm real happy with the break-in. This one went real good. Wonderful oil pressure. There she is one last time. So that's about all I got for you today. Just another fire up of an engine. Some guys like to see it. If it's not something you enjoy, just let me know. But again, for the few questions I did have, your Pertronics, you just liven it up with a lead from your battery to the positive side of your coil. That's all you need to run your Pertronics. Get your timing right, get your carb adjusted right, break it in, and you'll have a long life engine. So that's about all we have for this one today. Thanks for watching, everybody, as usual, and if there's anything you'd like to see, just let me know. Otherwise, we will continue on and get Joey's engine on here next. So thanks again. Catch you on the next one.